Hello Battlefield community, it's Remag here, and today's topic is going to be Battlefield 4. So we all know it's up and coming. They are in the process of developing it. They've given beta access to those who pre-order, what is it? I don't even know. I think it's Warfighter or something. Medal of Honor Warfighter, I believe it is. So that's kind of like a mix between Call of Duty and Battlefield. It's using the Frostbite 2 engine, but it's got the kind of Call of Duty style stuff in it, you know, like kill streaks, unlock airstrikes and all that stuff. So I probably won't actually pre-order that, even though I want to play Battlefield 4 beta. I don't think it's worth paying for a game to do so. So moving back onto Battlefield 4, it's going to be bigger than Armored Kill. You know, they can't go backwards, as you can imagine. So I've got a feeling it's likely to be the same kind of technology level as Battlefield 3, because I think that is the most popular level of technology in shooting games. So if they go, you know, they've done futuristic already. They've done World War already. So I think they'll stick with that. And hopefully for the release of Battlefield 4, the next-gen consoles will have come out, which will mean that these bigger maps will be possible, because I do feel that consoles have massively held back Battlefield's kind of level of expansion. It could have gone much bigger by now, much better. But basically what happened is 1942 PC exclusive, Battlefield 2 PC exclusive, then suddenly EA goes that we want consoles involved, and then they just totally backtrack and the size of everything goes massively down. So it's a total turn of events really, and it pissed a lot of people off. I think there were, you know, original Battlefield fans, that it was getting smaller. But yeah, if the next gen consoles come out, you know, it's going to allow for bigger maps again, which will be cool, better graphics, and it shouldn't affect the PC too much, hopefully. So I think what they will probably do, there was a mod called Desert Combat, which was actually designed and developed by Trauma Studios, and they did all of that free of charge. You know, that was just something they did as a project, and that was for 1942. It was a really good mod. It had loads of vehicles, loads of planes, ridiculous variation. And because it was free, they had no pressure to make it comply with anything. They just put as much as they could in it, and even made a few maps as well. It was really good. It was so good, in fact, that DICE actually, you know, bought the company, and then they helped develop the Battlefield 2 game. Obviously, as soon as DICE bought Battlefield 2, EA was saying you can't release so much. So straight away, from Desert Combat to Battlefield 2, you saw hardly any vehicles compared to Desert Combat. You know, the plane, you couldn't fly the massive planes and things like that, so they really scaled it down, and it was a shame really. So the maps were still the same, you know, still big maps, so that was good. But then obviously the next step, the next game comes out, which I think was Bad Company or something, and it was a console game, and that's where it all changed. It got smaller. Battlefield 3 was small. Luckily they put in Armored Kill, which has got it bigger again, which is great. But yeah, so it's kind of going back in the right direction, I think, which is a good thing. But yeah, Desert Combat, I think that's where they're going to go with Battlefield 4. I think if they bring a really good, visually up-to-date version of Desert Combat, just call it Battlefield 4. You know, the good thing about Desert Combat, or the 1942 engine, is they had aircraft carriers and destroyer ships that you could control, and you could beach them on the beach of Wake Island and stuff like that, which was pretty funny. And they even had submarines in there and things like that. So there's so much variation, which they seem to have taken out for some reason. And even with the planes, you know, you could fly the massive planes that, you know, you could lower. What are the Hercules, whatever it is, big transport plane. You could fly that and put tanks in the back of it and stuff like that. It was great. It was a really good game. So anything like that, it would be fantastic, really. So instead of just talking about it, I've decided to actually hop into Desert Combat, and you can see here, it's pretty cool. You know, I shot that plane down. it's pretty basic, but bearing in mind this is 10 years old. This game, it was 2002 when this was released. So obviously this is Desert Combat, so this was probably made a year later or something like that. But it's amazing. You know, you've got carriers. There's Harrier here, which you could hover. It's actually surprisingly hard to fly and drive tanks in this game. It makes you realise when you go back to it how much easier they've made it, which is in a way not good, because it takes away a lot of the skill. You know, it was actually very difficult to be good at the helicopters. This is a carrier, and you could actually drive that, you know, ram it into Wake Island, do all sorts. Back to the Harrier, me, you know, trying to show you some good clips and failing miserably. It's quite hard to fly at the end of the day, so it's there you have it. But it's cool, you know. They had the dogfights. It's just amazing. And bearing in mind as well, this is the same size as the Wake Island in the current game, and this is 10 years old. So it just shows how the consoles have held you back, or held the game back. So here again, you can actually walk around inside the helicopter while it's flying, if you like. You know, it's amazing how well it implemented it actually was. So again, this type of helicopter is extremely heavy, so it's bloody hard to steer it. So I was going all over the place. So yeah, I think this is just some clips of me failing miserably. It's pretty cool. And there you can see the back. I mean, these were all put in by Trauma Studios. This is their mod, and they went on to actually have a big part in the development of Battlefield 2. So it's kind of similar, except they took a load of crap out of Battlefield 2 and made it a bit dull. So somehow I managed to save that. God knows how. Yeah, but this version of the game had really good flying mechanics. I think it's probably the best mechanics. Battlefield 2 is probably quite similar, but this was really good. It took a lot of skill to actually fly the planes and the helicopters. And again, there's me not doing so well with the old flying. Oh dear, there we go, straight into the sea. So there's the map, pretty much exactly the same, give or take a few bits and bobs, you know, obviously detail. But here's the destroyer here, look, and as you will see, it's moving. I'm driving the destroyer, and this is Battlefield, guys. This is what it used to be like. There was also a submarine. Because I'm recording in 1080p, you can't actually see the bottom of the screen. But you can actually drop barrels, you know, explosive barrels for the submarines, and you've got countermeasures and things. It's just really cool. And this is what it used to be like, and why on earth they took it off. This is something that's a Desert Combat mod edition, you know, crazy rockets that you could control. Again, that's pretty awesome. And we're staring at a bit of ground for a while there. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good for a 10-year-old game, isn't it? I mean, you've got reflections on the water. I mean, it's not the prettiest, but these camera modes as well. You had what's called like a cinematic cam, where it would just fix the camera in front of you, but about that distance there, and it would just stay there until you change the camera. So you'll see me probably using it a bit just to try and give you some. It's impossible to fly while doing it, but see, I'm doing it there. Yeah. Go on, keep it up in the air. Go on. So I shoot at a tank, you know, to check that accuracy out, and then I nearly crash because I can't stop it spinning. See, it takes a really long time. So, you know, if you get used to it, you can fly it well. But clearly, I'm not used to it. But this is what I want. There's the cinematic cam. This is what I want, you know, Battlefield 4 to be like. Just release this mod with the number of vehicles in. They have so many vehicles in it. It would be amazing. And you can even do the cinematic cam with your player as well. So I just run around, have a try and shoot the camera, missing because God knows where it's all going. It's pretty, but it's perfect. You can make really cool movies with it. You know, it's just great. There's me dropping some bombs on some houses, and managing to actually drop some more on that island quite successfully. God knows how. So this is really cool. So we've got the whatever it's called, the Hercules thing in Armored Kill, It's just fixed though, just flying around in a circle, like it is at the moment because there's an NPC flying it. But you can look, as you can see, I'm running up and down inside the thing. You know, where's that? Why can't we have that anymore? It's awesome. You've got this ramp thing that you open and close. You can parachute people out the back. It's just, how cool is that? You can run on it when it's closed because it's safe. You know, you won't fall out. And it's just amazing. And there's someone parachuting, some NPC. I took over the controls, so he just thought, fuck that, jump out. But look at that. It's just, I'm flying that. And for some reason, they need some fixed path bollocks in the latest one. So where's the development gone? I mean, this is 10 years ago, so I'm expecting to see all of this back in the next one. In Battlefield 4, I expect to see all of this implemented in terms of being able to literally run inside a plane while it's flying and it's being player controlled. Just everything like that. It's just these camera shots. I love it. How cool is that? It's just awesome. It's a really good game. And you got this thing here. There's so many vehicles. I couldn't show all of them because there wasn't enough time. But this here, it's like some sort of rocket thing. A V12. There is actually a proper V12 rocket in this game as well, just so you know. It's like a nuclear warhead going off. It's amazing. But this is just like a mini one. This is just bombarding. But it's just look at that. If you're on the end of that, you're buggered. I can tell you. You've got the sun there reflecting. It's just a really good game. Really good game. I'm just blowing shit up. Yeah, I'm just showing you the things flying. So the draw distance, I mean, it feels massive. It feels bigger. Although Battlefield 3, the Armored Kill, whatever that map is that they say is the biggest in history. When you play it, it doesn't feel like the biggest because there's so many mountains and things. So you can't actually travel. You know, you can only go on these set paths. It feels very linear. But some of these maps, it's literally just a desert. You know, you're a flat desert. You know, it's easy to render it, I suppose, because you haven't got anything there. But it made it feel big, and also the draw distance on this, you couldn't really see. If you look in the distance there, it's kind of foggy. So it made it feel much bigger because you couldn't see further than kind of 700 meters or whatever. And it just kind of added to that. You just felt like it was never ending. But obviously it did end. It's not as big. You know, Battlefield 3 does have the biggest map now. But when I look back and remember this, it just feels bigger. So here again, if you look where I'm aiming and then where the shell goes, that's like a good 50 meter or even 100, 50, 75 meter difference in where it actually goes. So again, it takes skill. In today's one, you just fucking shoot at the target and they just get battered basically and die instantly. So me trying to hit this tank, look, I've got to aim off over there, and I managed to hit it. And then I've got to get that little guy. Managed to hit him, but it's just, you know, it's a bit more challenging to do. It's not as easy, so I missed it a bit there. And this is all down to how the player flies. You know, if you're with a teammate. So I'm dropping C4 off it here now. I didn't know the parachute button though, and I still don't. So I just kind of jumped off, and it was like, oh shit, panic, dead. There you go, pretty cool. But yeah, again, this is another map, another big map, and even the kind of physics of the tanks felt better. Like if you turned, it wouldn't turn straight away, and it just, like, the whole thing would rock back and forward, and it's just awesome. And it would be really slow until you went in a straight line. So there you go, whizzes off, and there's a 50 cal on the floor there, Beretta 50 cal, whatever the fuck it's called. So you could basically, you couldn't get that as a kit, but you could pick it up. So it's quite cool as well. It's just, there's a lot of cool things. It's quite nostalgic watching it, really. And what have we got? So yeah, here's the Apache. There's so many vehicles, I can't stress enough. There's just, I haven't even probably touched on. I've probably touched on about 20% of them in these clips. Like everything you've seen is probably about 20% of them. There's so many, and that's because they didn't care. They just shoved everything they wanted to in there because they were doing it for free. It was fun. But yeah. So to sum it up, Battlefield 4, I want it like this basically. Just I want as many vehicles as they can throw at us, and I want them all pilotable. I want big maps, and it will bring back the fun, you know, being able to sit inside a plane that's being flown by your friends. So if you agree, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.